There's something many of us learn early in life, though no one ever says it out loud. In families, silence can become a language of its own. We don't always talk about the things that matter most, not because we don't feel them, but because sometimes the truth is just too heavy to carry in words. We bury our ideas, our pain, and our stories, not just to protect ourselves, but to protect those we love. Because love and loss aren't just felt, they're inherited, just like eye color or the shape of our hands. And in impossible circumstances, finding your voice can be one of the hardest things to do. Think about it. You might remember someone from your own family, most likely a woman. The ones who held so much and said so little. The ones who endured things you may never fully understand. And suddenly you realize we all carry stories we're too afraid to tell or too broken to name. Let's pause and reflect on this together. Silence doesn't mean the pain is gone. Silence is not the end of a story. It's often where it begins. Pain unspoken doesn't disappear. It hides in our fears, in our distance, and in the ways we try and, sometimes fail to love. Love during crisis looks different, but it's still love. In the face of war, loss, or survival, love becomes quieter, but it's still there. Between soulmates, between siblings, between mothers and sons, fragile, desperate, incomplete, but honestly enough. Some things aren't forgiven with time. They're carried with grace. We don't always get closure. Sometimes the people we grieve leave behind unfinished stories. Healing, in these moments, isn't resolution, it's surrender. And grace. So, generational trauma is real. Even if we don't know the whole story, we still carry the echoes, the anxiety, the silence, and the caution. Understanding how the past lives in the present can actually help us live differently now. Strength doesn't always look heroic. Sometimes it might look like a trembling voice on a phone call, or maybe walking away when it's honestly the hardest thing to do. Real strength isn't always loud, but it's always brave. Not every story is easy to tell, but telling it still matters. Let's not wait. Let's ask, listen, and make space for those who have never had the words, or the permission, or even the safety. We all deserve to be heard, even when our words come slowly. Love listens, even when words stumble, especially then. Because honestly, the most powerful things are often felt long before they're ever spoken. The things we cannot say is both heartbreaking and beautiful. It made me weep for people I've never met. It made me hold the women in my life a little tighter. And it reminded me that even the stories we're afraid to speak still shape who we become. As the author Audre Lorde once said, what is most important must be spoken, made verbal and shared, even at the risk of being bruised or misunderstood. If your family carries invisible wounds, if there's someone you wish you understood better, someone whose silence you now see differently, let this video sit with you. Let it open a door. Ask, listen, speak. Because healing often begins with the things we dare at last to say. Thank you for watching, liking and subscribing the video. This video is inspired by the book The Things We Cannot Say, a ShifaNaturals production.